Welcome to the Soulscape show, where together we will explore and discover the depth and breadth of your soul for your evolution to higher consciousness. This is a very special show with your host Gabrielle Spencer and special guest Ambujam Rose. Gabrielle Spencer is known for conscious creation for old souls. She is a multidimensional intuitive channel and channels the golden beings of light and higher vibrational beings in healing sessions as an inspirational speaker, author, and practical spiritualist who assists you to raise your vibration to reclaim your inner power, spiritual gifts, and abilities. Gabrielle shares next-level spiritual tools, clearings, and activations to unite your heart, mind, spirit, and soul to allow you to awaken and manifest your soul's highest destiny. Ambujam Rose is a way shower and embodiment activator. She helps you understand and navigate your awakening, quickly letting go of the ego self and learning how to live from truth. You're asked to own your choices, reconcile karma, and be who you are. Ambujam works directly with the Divine Power Group energy, God and Grace. She brings the group into an accelerated healing space, activating inner truth, sacredness, and embodiment. She sees the group's path of awakening and the significant past life experiences and complex energy patterns holding the old ego self in place. She instantly frees the roots of life themes, relationship dynamics, belief systems, complex spiritual issues, and falsehoods about yourself. Ambujam's unique mix of quick focus, energy clearings, and spot-on guidance activates your true self and energizes your heart's rightful path. Ambujam's group power healings have accelerated the path to freedom for over 20 years. Her dedication to embodying her own path continuously creates her work to meet the evolutionary needs of humanity. Together and united in the light, we are powerful. Tonight we will be coming together to access our next level of wisdom and understanding to shift yourself, your consciousness, and your reality into your greatest potentials and opportunities, as we discuss the end of humanity's cycle of fear, being sovereign from within. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining with us. I so appreciate it and wish to, at this moment, just came to me to connect on the higher vibrational levels, all of our hearts together, filling us with golden light, creating this beautiful weaving of golden light all around, of love, protection, knowledge and understanding, wisdom of the highest, to bring us together to make the most out of this time, to bring peace, joy, love, and prosperity to each and every one of us and all those that we are connected with. Thank you. All right.
Amen.
So, amen. That's right.
Amen.
See how quickly that happened? It's because we had started early. So tonight I want to welcome Ambujam Rose. I know I probably mess your name up every time, but I love it
Ambujam.
because in my
It's
head
close. Close enough.
I hear it as a sing song, Ambujam, Ambujam. So so there you are. So tonight we have with us my dear, dear friend, love her. And I appreciate her being here tonight to discuss the end of humanity's cycle of fear, being sovereign from within, especially at this time, because it's really poignant for all of us to go into what that really means on a higher vibrational level. And that's what we're here to discuss today. So welcome, my dear friend, Ambujam.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everybody.
That's
so
right.
good to be here. I was looking forward to this all day.
Aw.
Like, is it 6 yet? Is it 6? Is it 6? My time
to
6
start?
time. Is it time? Is it time?
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, so tell me, you and I have talked aside from the show. So tell me what comes to you as the message, the meaning. What is it that people can feel into to assist them to know and understand what they need to know and understand right in this moment?
So I want to share first about what Spirit showed me when it was pretty much like a couple of weeks before we all got quarantined in our homes. And there was this image of all this like chaos going on, like on the ground, okay, granularly, humanly, all this chaos. And this image of like this overarching theme. And there was like, so for me, everything, the future's to my right, but because I'm doing this, it's going to be to your left. Okay.
Okay.
So, because I noticed that in a video, I'm like, oh, it's not left, because I'm super specific with stuff. And I know people are super sensitive and super dialed in. They'll be like, Ambujam, that's not the future, that's the past. So I'm like this, because I know you guys like rock. You guys are just on it. So when I point this way, I'm pointing to the future, but for you, it's going to be on the left because it's video, right?
Yes, we're mirror images.
Mirror images. So I saw this overarching thing, and that there's this new world being literally created as we breathe. And there's a threshold. And in the past was fear. Embedded in fear, living from fear. And we don't think, I'm scared all the time. That's not what fear, I mean, yes, it is, right? But fear is like a way of being. We don't feel our true selves. We don't feel our sovereignty. We don't feel whole. So we're always in this threat of not having what we need. And that threat, we make choices from. And that this whole way of choosing from fear, I'll simply say for now, is the opportunity to actually end it. Like a whole cycle in humanity forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And this new way that all of this is creating and triggering for people, this new way is living not from fear. What does that mean, right?
Yes.
Now, I've been talking about this for years. My message has been super consistent. It's always about living from your heart, following the guidance, no matter what, okay? This new world is that. It's, let's say, everyone in humanity has the opportunity right now to choose from the heart, to choose from their guidance, to trust the call of whatever their life is about. If we all did that, we'd all be standing in our spots that we're supposed to stand in, says our hearts, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're all standing in our spots, the ecosystem would shift, because our ecosystems are right, with ourselves. Everything would change if every single person did it, okay? If just one person doesn't do it, we are all affected. We're not free until we're all free, period, okay? So we have this huge opportunity right now to dig deep, like I've been saying forever, dig deep. What's really true for you? Do it. And the old way is this threat of, well, I can't do it because I'm either going to lose my relationships or lose money. Because it's always a survival threat.
This is the point right there. It's always, I can't do it until. That's the header. That's the header.
Yep.
For everybody.
And how our minds work is we need proof before we, take a step. That's just how this world has been. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not how it's not the magic that we live in, because how you live from the heart and from the truth within is you don't see it first 99% of the time, or 99.9.9% of the time. You feel it and you take that leap, and somehow it appears. Not in my timeline, right? We've all been there, freaked out, going, what the? I've been listening and where is it? Okay, that's not it. I know we get freaked out. I know we get upset. We've all been there, right?
Yes.
A lot of people are there now, right? I've been praying and I've been asking and I've been choosing, and it still hasn't happened. I 1000% get that. Okay, I'm not saying don't feel that way. It's just part of the course for now. Okay, but can you trust regardless of what you see in front of you? So it's now, we've been talking about this for years, that there's the shift in consciousness. We cannot be this way anymore. We have to change. but there's not been a consequence. We've all felt it in our own lives, what happens when we don't trust our intuition, follow our truth, right?
Right.
But in the world, there's not been a consequence. Now there is. Now it's like physically here. We've been talking about this in consciousness for a long time, but now it's physically manifested.
Yes.
So every single human being is touched by this experience. Every single one, no matter where you are in your path, I don't care. If you're rich, or you've got nothing, you are touched. Your path has had an instant shift. Okay. So if we take the situation out, the rich guy and the person who has nothing, and we just take those situations away for a second, we take the outer world away. The inner world has been poked, has been touched, and life is asking you, how do you choose to live? It's been doing this for years, right? But again, we've been able to get away with being like, well, never mind, right? And again, it hurts inside, and we know when we don't do it. We can't lie to ourselves, right?
Right.
But it super matters now. I've been saying this for so many years. It matters, it matters, it matters. Now it even more matters because, right? Look around, right? So the opportunity, the overall opportunity is to use this experience as a spiritual quest to be like, okay, what is it, life, that you're pointing to for me? What is it you're trying to show me? What is it you want me to learn, see, understand? Do I need to course correct? No? Okay, what is it then I need to do? So we have to ask ourselves these questions, like, what is it that life is bringing this?
Yes.
Now, we can't forget that the consciousness shift in 2020 that we've been talking about, especially since 2019, right? In all the spiritual circles, everybody's like, change, 3D to 5D, no matter what people call it. We've been talking about this, right? This whole virus issue is a result of this 2020 shift. It's not first. It didn't come first, and it's creating the shift. The shift is creating this situation. Okay. And I'm super simplifying it because it's very layered and very detailed.
Always.
So, right. So don't forget, you guys, that foundationally what's at stake is your path. Okay. If it's a financial change for you, what is that trying to show you? If it's an emotional change for you or a family change for you, like, what's your section, right? Because we all have one.
Right.
So that's the overarching thing. The other thing I just want to throw in there, just as a tool, the only way something can stick to you, AKA the virus, is because it's sticking to an unresolved emotional thing, period. Okay. Or it's there to, if it sticks, it's to awaken you into something, which really is the same thing. So to be proactive, if you're afraid you're going to get sick, just go within and spend time and ask yourself, where in me, I wonder, could this possibly stick to? And just let it come. And you can ask yourself that many times a week, because it could always be something else, right? So be like emotionally proactive, get conscious of something before life makes you conscious of it. So, and I feel like I'm being like pretty right now, but I can't help it. It's just what's coming out.
It's
so
time.
Yeah.
It's our time to, like you said, for a long time, we've been able to kind of put it off or do a little bit and go a little bit and do a little more and a little more and a little more. And we'll get to it later. I'm really busy right now. I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to take the course. I don't have time to get, help, whatever. And, we have talked for years also about the spiritual 2x4. And in a way, this is the 2x4 with a Mack truck. So
Yep.
So this is that here it is. And so everything is coming up anyway in 2020. It was already coming up, and this
is already
pushed it to be more intense. Like you said, for everything that needs to go, everything that you no longer serves you, whether it's fear, struggle, lack, relationships you stay in or jobs you stay in because it pays the bills and it's semi-secure.
But it's not right anymore.
That's right, because
right?
the security piece needs to be, security and stability needs to shift to that 5D perspective.
It needs to be here.
Inside.
Like I know deep down I'm safe no matter what. Right. And I don't know it. I know it. Correct. I just know. And that helps me because I have me. I didn't have me before 20 years ago. I didn't have me. I had my gifts. I would do my readings and all that stuff. I didn't have me though. Not yet.
No. Well,
working it. And now I have a sense of self, right? That I feel I spend time in every single day to go deep and anchor. That helps me make my scary choices because I know I've got myself. And I rather have my soul intact than give my energy away and be like spiritually in pain. And that's like this foundational choice we've made. We've been like, no, I can't follow my heart because all these fears. And yet we're spiritually in pain because we know what we need to do. You know what you need to do.
That's it.
Overall. Then
everybody does, but they're waiting for something. I mean, most of the time, we're waiting for whatever it is, that love of my life to support me, for my mate to decide that what I'm doing is valid, whatever it is. We have a lot of reasons for why we're waiting.
It's so challenging to trust this when you have no proof and you're scared to death.
And you're right. You said it earlier that our society is based on show me the money, show me the beef. Remember all
where's the beef?
Movies, right? Where's the beef? Show me the money. I mean, think about where it is in our social consciousness, right? Prove it to me and then I will do it, right?
Yeah.
Prove to me that it will work and then I'll go ahead. And so, but finding that safety and security and trust from within is the absolute key to not just what we're going through currently and can be seen and experienced in the physical, but it's what will create that shift that we need, because inside is wholeness.
Can I share some stuff?
Sure. My
personal experiences. So when my gifts, I did what I did ever since I was a kid, forgot about it, put it away, went to San Francisco, boom, came on overnight. And I learned a lot. And a lot was about the magic that's inside of me if I trust every single thing that my intuition tells me. And because I had to learn all this, like very, very quickly, my eyes were open. So every time I'd go outside, I'd just see stuff and I'd be curious. And I used to live by a highway wall. And behind the highway wall, when I would drive away out my street, the highway wall would get smaller and this huge mountain would appear behind the highway wall. And I'd go, interesting. If I never left this wall, I would never know there's a mountain back there. And then when I would come home, the mountain would slowly disappear because I'd go down the hill and the highway wall would be there again, right?
Yes.
And it was a teacher for me every single day that I cannot see what's behind me or around me. I have to leave my spot to go see. And I would use that example over and over and over when my intuition would be like, go do this, go do that. I'm like, yeah, but what, and then I'd do it. And then the thing would happen.
Yeah,
and that's, 25 years of proof, right? I have 25 years of following my heart and it works, but it's not instant. Okay. So I know that I'm not just saying this, like it's hard. And I feel like I want to tell you guys a story, and I don't know why I have to tell you this.
Tell us.
But I do.
I love stories.
So I was waitressing in the beginning when my gifts were turning on, and I just got a new job. And it was the first time that I moved away. I grew up in Boston. Like, I was on my own, have a job. I'm like, phew, okay. And when you waitress at a new place, your shifts start at the bottom. You get the shittiest sections, and like, it's just the way it is. And you got to work yourself up. You got to work your way up. You got to earn the good sections, right? And the good hours and the good nights and all that. So I was there for maybe, I don't know, a few months. And I finally got a Saturday night, a Thursday lunch, Friday dinner. And the very next day I hear, time to leave, quit your job now. Time to start your practice, as a healer. And I'm like, no, I just got the best everything. I can't, it's my money. And it was very clear, quit your job. So I listened and I quit. I had 1 or 2 clients at that time. So I had no idea how money was coming in, right? And I would ask Spirit, how do I get clients? And they said every day for 4 years, this is a whole other little thing, but they said every single day, they said, be yourself and have patience. And I'd be like, be myself? How's that going to get me clients? And I was dating somebody who was in marketing at the time and PR. He's like, you got to do this and you got to do that. And I did all those things, but nothing worked. So I tried to do the society 3D. This is how you get work. You market and you this and you that. And this is before the internet and stuff. So I had pamphlets, the threefold thing that you can open. And so I was like, what is going on? And Spirit said, everything in the outside world starts from within. And they were like, look around your room right now. You've created all of this. You've either done it consciously or unconsciously. So to create something new, you have to go within. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know what I was doing. And I just sat a lot, and I was guided what to do, who to meet, where to go. So I did that. But this is the story I need to tell. Okay, that's just kind of the background. So it's my first year of my practice. I have like 0 clients pretty much. And all my bills are due. Rent, everything. I am freaked out. I am a puddle on the floor because Spirit told me go within and it'll all happen. So I did that and it wasn't happening yet. So I'm like, my rent's due and all my bills and my car payment, blah, blah, blah. So I am like a snotty puddle of mess on the floor I'm like, kill me now. Oh, just take me. I can't take this anymore. And out of nowhere,
keep going.
I was
describe myself as snarky. I was just a snarky little girl back then. But anyway, I like yours too. I mean, we can all relate to this, right? Snarky, whiny, bitchy. What else? And we still do it at times. So
right. Oh, totally. I still like. Where's the thing?
Having a tantrum and.
Yep. So I'm having a fit, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it. Like, I was literally asking God to take me. Like, I'm not going to make it. And then I hear, go get your date book. And this is, before internet and stuff. So I wrote my calendar.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I'm crawling. Like, I was so bad. I was bad. And I crawl and I get in my date book and Spirit says, now we want you to put in the times and days that you want clients to come for next week. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, Monday at 4, Wednesday at 3. So I wrote it all out. And they go, the phone's going to ring on Monday. Oh, no, they said the phone's going to ring and your whole schedule will be filled. And this was like a Thursday. And I'm like, okay, good. And they go, Monday, the phone will ring. We want you to stay out of fear the whole weekend. And I'm like, 3 days? No fear. They're like, here's the deal. If you 100% believe and stay focused that this is going to happen, that energy will start coming to you. The second you go into fear and you veer, fear starts coming. So they go, what do you want? Which one? It was obvious, right? So I'm like, that one. So they're like, you have to stay out of fear until Monday and the phone will ring. So all weekend I did everything I could to just stay focused and stay in fear. And I'd like hug my phone. The phone's going to ring. Like I just did everything I could. Monday, phone rings. Sure enough, every single person who called on Monday all wanted the dates and the times that I had written in my calendar. And I was like, that was a miracle. I was blown away. And I was like, hear me now. I will never not trust again. You know, and then the next day I'm like, oh God, am I going to have enough next week? Like I've seen miracle after miracle after miracle.
Best story ever.
The trust.
This is how it works, right?
Yeah. The fear doesn't trust.
Yeah.
And it took me years because I thought something was wrong with me. I'm like, Spirit just showed me miracle after miracle after miracle. I followed my heart. It came true. Like not in my timing, right? I mean, that was a very specific miracle, and I started to get, the part of me, which is the ego, but I didn't really know that then. I was just like, this part of me is in constant fear and she will never trust, but I can. And then I kind of let go of the need to try to trust because I'm like, the part of me that keeps trying won't do it. She can't do it. She's in total fear. And so I've just learned a lot about just white knuckling what my heart tells me because it's true and it happens. And I'm scared just like everybody else is, but I can't help but follow my heart. I just can't help it. I just can't. I'm just so motivated to do it no matter what. I just can't help it. So that's foundationally what we're all being asked to do now. And the thing is just like that mountain behind the highway wall, we can't know what's around the corner sometimes until we actually turn the corner and then we see. Well, follow your faith, follow your trust, and then you'll see. It's just how it works. The true self doesn't have fear. It doesn't go, oh no, what about me? It's just constantly just living from the heart, living from its truth. It's unfolding. It's blossoming like a flower. It doesn't need anything that's not here. It just works totally different than, me. Right. I'm scared because this is where the fear is, right? So this old paradigm or this old history of cycle that humanity has been in, this fear, plus there wasn't all this awakening. So we were very 100% identified with our fear. So we would just be scared and we wouldn't listen, and we all pay the price. It hurts. It really hurts when we don't listen, right? Yes. Then awakening started happening, and now we have more space between my fear and my heart. It's still scary. It's almost more scary because before somebody wakes up, the ego is able to just keep everything at bay in a certain way, kind of keep it over there, even though we can feel suffering and we're miserable, but there's still a veil between us and our emotions. When the awakening happens, that goes, and we're like this. And that's why people go, oh my God, something's wrong with me. It's worse. It's actually, no, we all learn how to get used to this, right? This whole awakening thing. But we just, in order to change this world, we have to follow our hearts, period. We're not saying don't be scared, but do it.
Well, I think what you're saying is there's always the opportunity to choose fear, or to choose to be scared, or even worried, or even to have anxiety. Somebody's written in the chat box, how do you hear your heart? So I'm going to let you answer that, because this is very key to what we're saying, right? So you share what it is for you and how you teach it.
Okay, so what it is for me is I sit down and I just stay exactly as I am. I don't try to quiet my mind. I don't try to feel anything different. And I acknowledge my mind, inside. I'm like, okay, my mind is going like this, thinking. Emotionally, I feel like this. And then I just hang out with those things for a minute. Because I can't try to get rid of them. Doesn't work. Can't try to go over them or under them. Doesn't work, right? We've all been there.
Trying to control it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It's like a child pulling at your leg. You got to give that child some attention. And once it has attention, it's like, oh, okay, thanks, bye. Okay.
Yes.
So I give attention to whatever's happening, trying my best to not change it or fix it. Just, yep. Okay. Then I bring my awareness out of my mind and out of my emotions because I can, because I gave it a second. I gave it attention. A second could mean an hour or 5 minutes or 2 seconds, because it's different every time, depending on how attached I am to what's going on emotionally and mentally, right? If I'm not attached, I don't care. I'm like, oh, it's just my mind. But if I'm attached to what's going on in there, I'm still believing it's true, it's going to take me longer, right, to settle in. Then I bring my awareness literally to my heart center, inside, like a focus. Like our awareness is like a flashlight. Like wherever you shine that light is where your attention goes, right? So I gently just allow my attention to come out of my mind and out of my emotions, and I bring it here. And then I notice this space and just what's going on in that moment, like what's going on today, I wonder, So I'm kind of doing the same thing I'm doing with my mind and my emotions, but I'm just paying attention to my heart energy. Then after that, I get to this point where I'm like, okay, I'm way more neutral now. And I feel like I can just be curious and surrender. And then I ask my heart, what is it I need to know today? What do you need to do? What's there to be done about my path today? Or my relationship, or my finances, or my health? Like I'll ask a question, whatever it is that I need to know. And then I don't manufacture the answer.
That's the big part. Say it again. I don't manufacture the answer.
I don't manufacture the answer. I actually just wait. And I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait. And then I'll start to feel a feeling. And it starts taking over. And then my mind and emotions just kind of like relax. And then I'm in this heart space, and I can feel it's either pointing me in a direction, or it's like there's nothing to do. But it's not saying that with words, though. It's a feeling like, oh, there's actually nothing to do right now. Everything's being done already.
Correct. Or
it'll say, come back later. Or, but
you just get the feeling it's not the right time, don't you?
Right.
It's not like there's a story. It's like, you know what? We've put it out there, and when it comes in, and I don't know about you, but for me, it tends to come in at certain times for me, but it's generally when my mind is not busy with things, right? And then it will come in. So I tell people a lot of times I'll get stuff in the shower.
Shower. When I go for a walk, run.
Yeah.
I kind of have this like way of surrendering to my body, and I'm just like, all right, because I know what I'm working on in that moment, or that day. So I'm like, all right, what do I need to do to actually move forward in this energetically? Because it's all consciousness. So if I can move into, like, I'll feel the consciousness of what's going on, and I can actually move into that and leave the past, let it go, and just stay super present, like here now, But yeah, I'd never manufacture it. I just wait. And a lot of times,
very key, because people, I think that the impression might be that the moment that we are connecting and asking, that we instantaneously get an answer, but it is not generally how it works at all.
No, it's actually more quiet than it is with guidance.
Correct. Yes.
And we think, I'm missing it, something's wrong, I'm not hearing it right. Let me try this again. And then,
or I'm going to ask the question 20 other different trick ways.
Yeah, it's, and this is hard to describe with words. This is really hard to describe with words.
Yeah.
My experience of a lot of times of why it's quiet is this.
Yes.
So when awakening happens, what actually happens is the true self starts living your life. It's no longer me doing it. So I'm just going to describe this. Okay. So awakening to me happens in the heart. It's like this veil, this block just goes, okay. And then my truth starts emanating out of my heart energy, my true self, the light consciousness starts emanating, and it starts purifying everything that's not this light. So now this is living my life. I thought I was, right? We all wake up, we're like, wait, what? What's happening? Because our true self is living our life every day. And this doesn't really get that fully yet because we still think we can control and all this. A lot's already being done from the truth. So when we go to tune in and there's nothing to do, it's because it's already being done, but not in a way that we think it's being done. It's being done in through grace, through the divine within us. It's being done. So there's a lot of waiting for something to
get the tap on the shoulder.
Go left, go right.
Correct. Right.
It doesn't work that way. It's a very different experience. And a lot of people say, oh, I thought that silence was bad, or I thought I should have heard something. It's like, actually, nope. There's difference between, that type of nothingness and kind of that void or expansion, just nothing happening, compared to resistance and blocking. That feels different. It doesn't feel peaceful.
Yes.
Where the space feels quite peaceful.
Yes.
And there's
being
just
connected feels really peaceful.
Yeah.
I was asked in my group the other day, somebody asked me, what does it feel like to merge with your light bodies? And the answer is, as we're merging with more and more of ourself, which is your light bodies, and we're raising our vibration, which is more of your light body, the overall feeling is peace. It's beyond explanation, actually, but it is more that just, if you could go into white noise, right, where it's just, it's just really calm. And when you're not in it, for certain, like when
for certain,
there's no question.
Am I in my peace? No. Yeah.
I mean, that the more that you are in it, the more you know when that is. And so when people, if you haven't experienced it, or you thought that just meant you were disconnected, then just ask to be given the knowledge, whatever that is for you, so that you can differentiate it and then replicate it. I'm a big believer in, once you felt it, you can replicate getting there, even though you don't have the steps A, B, C. This is what I did, right?
Yeah.
It's just you begin to make the shift automatically, energetically. Go ahead.
And Spirit's saying too that we have so much habit running in us of thinking we have to figure it out, and fear, because that's what we've been living for so long. It's really just challenging to just not know here. The truth knows. But it's really hard. Right? Like, we're just waking up. We've lived hundreds and thousands, countless soul history lifetimes. Let's say this is all our lifetimes. And we're awake here. We just started. So we have all this history that's like, no, I'm not listening to my heart because last time didn't work out so well, right?
Right. It's and the time before that. And the time
before that. And the time before that. Yeah. And it's like when I work with people and you can watch grace, like life, grace, come to people and say, it's time to come out now. And it knows that person's entire history and how vulnerable it is with all that trauma and fear and loss, right?
Right.
To come out again. We're all being asked, regardless of, I don't want to say regardless, I don't have another word, regardless of how afraid we are, the grace, I don't even have a word. The sacredness is asking us to come out anyway, come out again. And we're the only ones that can do it. I'm the only one that can step to that edge and say yes, right? It's so vulnerable. It's so beautiful. And as we were talking about the virus situation and the opportunity to leave from this, living from this disempowered threat, always I'm under threat placed. Wait a minute, I have me, I'm going. I heard Amma and Spirit say what's actually happening in the world right now is grace. Doesn't look like grace, right? We think grace should be saving everybody from this intense experience. No, it's grace. This is actual grace. And I hear Spirit kind of saying in a very specific way, they're like, and don't ask us why so-and-so died and this person didn't, why this person's having this experience and that one isn't, because it's too sacred, it's too personal for that soul. So the other
So
thing,
important.
the other thing I've been seeing a lot is like these tiers, like a cake, right? Like this,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And or side by side, like a line. It's super subtle. Okay, so many. And these lines and these tiers are souls. And each soul is being affected super specifically with this virus issue. So let's say I'm a line and your line is getting super specific what it needs at this time, and my line is getting super specific what it needs at this time. So that's why Spirit's like, don't ask us to compare and contrast, because that's not what this is about. Why me and why not that person, or why that person and why not me? How come that person isn't touched financially, but I am? Because that's what their soul needs to go through, and this is what your soul needs to go through. It's a massive awakening, even though we've already awoken, a lot of us. It's more and quick. That's the grace. The grace is the quickening, right? So the more we can hop in that canoe, just be on this river, put the oars down, right? Don't try to control it, but listen.
Be in the flow of it. That's what you're saying. River. Yeah, it's being in the flow of it. Because
it's so hard because we're scared, right? And Spirit goes, the scaredness is the flow too. Being scared is part of this journey.
It's not about denying it. It's about going into the deeper fear. What is the fear showing you? What is the fear showing you that has to be reconciled within you? And within your energetic bodies.
That's exactly it. It's like the soul is reconciling something. Each one of us. What is that? And it's not just one thing, because this virus is multifold, right? It's not just one thing. It's daily, hourly. That's the quickening part. Because normally it takes lifetimes to reconcile one major thing. And we're doing it every day.
And on multidimensional levels. Because in order for us to move into the ascension, it's really never been about the 3D existence that you're currently in. It's about you embodying more of yourself, which is not limited to a third dimensional. This is just the vehicle aspect of your soul, which is fantastic. I love her. I mean, love you guys, right? We love all of our 3D vehicles. They're fantastic. But it's about bringing more of our energetic capacity. I think of it. I know, big interesting word, but it is our capacity to be light and to hold that light, to be a conduit for the light. But for all of us, in order to be that greater capacity of light, we have to reconcile the things that are keeping it from being fully connected. And so for example, I was working on a woman yesterday, and I was freeing aspects of her soul from hell realms. Well, that's big stuff. And in many ways, many aspects of our souls end up in some sort of hell realm. But at the end, I said to her, so how do you feel, basically? And she's like, I feel like my energy has increased like 30%. And I said, but that's big stuff, because we have to reclaim the aspects of our souls, aspects of ourselves that are trapped, not just in a hell realm, just in trapped somewhere. There's, we're in this very interesting word. So we're not together. I hear disconjunction, which isn't even a word. Is there a word like that in English? It doesn't matter. That's what I hear. But there is a disconnect, and so we're not able to bring back all aspects of ourselves. And so when we reconcile them on these deeper levels, that's when we become greater capacitors of light, because we're bringing more
because we're getting our
energy
together. Back.
Yes,
right?
We're bringing it in. We're making ourselves solid. I always see it as a solid light, which is kind of a funny thing. But that's, I know, right? Solid light.
Oxymoron, right? Solid light.
Well, I'm going to have to pull out my slinkies again, but it is solid light. And it's It's about what you said. And the thing is, it's not being afraid of the fear. It's not being afraid of the change. It's not being afraid of not being able to make the bills. It is having that trust that the universe is going to direct you in the way that you need to experience what you need, so that you can then move through it quickly, especially like with the grace, the ease and grace, to move through it quickly, learn, reconcile what needs to be reconciled, bring back to you what needs to be returned, and you move through it as quickly and with ease and grace as you can. So that's what we're saying overall.
Yeah, listen, trust, follow, do. Yep.
Okay, so I've read this question a couple times. When our spirit speaks to us, do we hear an actual voice, or is it more of our own inner voice and knowing? So somebody else asked a similar question. How do they know it's the voice? And do you have an answer?
Well, for me, it's both. Like when I say spirit, the team that works with me, I hear them. It's like a unison feminine voice. When I ask my heart stuff, I feel like it's me plus grace, like me plus.
It has a different energy to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Would you agree? You know the energy. You're familiar with that energy when it's...
I'm familiar with it. Yeah. Like, you know, a lot of questions, people are like, how do you know the difference between your mind and your truth? Right. It takes a long time.
It does.
Practice.
But you know what? Your mind speaks to you in a certain way. And I will tell you, whenever you hear something that is more of a limiter, that is more likely to be your mind. So I can't do it until is more your mind. Right? So you have to start paying attention to what is being said to you, what you're hearing in your head. And so you'll start to recognize a pattern for when your mind is limiting you or causing fear and triggering memories. Remember when this happened to you and then you fell off the roof and you broke your leg? Okay, that's your mind speaking. So it may not be so obvious, but if you start to pay attention to how your mind is speaking to you, you will start to recognize just that simple way, words that are repeated and the emotions that get triggered, because your mind will, your subconscious and your emotional body trigger memories that cause you emotional pain or an emotional trigger, fear, and other things. And so that's not necessarily how your spirit speaks to you. Now, the spirit has evoked in me fear, in that you're going to go out in public speak, and I'm like, no,
but that's different. Yeah, that's
totally.
not disempowering.
Yeah, I'm just letting them know. Okay, it's because I know inside myself I had stuff I had to reconcile. So again, we're back to, there's no sure answer. You have to figure it out for you, right? That's what we're really saying.
Yeah, like
there's some ways.
When the mind talks to me, or energy that's not me tries to guide me in a certain direction, because I've been practicing, to me, the clue is I feel agenda in the energy, where I never feel agenda from love, or when the truth is in my heart. I feel agenda, I feel small, and I feel doubt. I don't believe in myself. It's a very specific kind of small doubt, where when the truth speaks to me, even if it tells me something that scares me, I still feel expansive and like I can do anything. It's very, can I tell another story of that time when I was freaked out?
Tell a story. I love stories. So does everybody else. They loved your story, by the way.
Oh, good.
I've been reading the chat, so everybody know that I am monitoring the chats. But everybody loved your story, and the reason is because this is real, and what people want is to know when those responses are going to end for them. When are they going to stop having those kind of responses? And so we're talking about how that comes to that. But tell us your story.
Well, it's an interesting question. When am I going to stop having these responses? You never know. But it's not a barometer of how well you're doing. Okay. You might be scared for 50 more years, the same exact fear over and over and over and over. Or it'll change 2 seconds from now, but don't wait for that. Just let it. I know this is easier said than done. If it never changes, what are you going to do? You're going to not listen to your guidance? You're going to wait for it to change, right? It's almost easier to go, you know what? This might never change. And I'm just going to keep going, right? Because, you know, I'm still waiting for something to manifest for me that hasn't yet. And I've done a lot of work and I'm like, hello, but I'm not a crying mess on the floor anymore. It took a long time to not freak out, but it's just time. It takes a lot of time. It just takes time. And grace too. Grace could come and just snap its fingers and you're just not scared anymore, or you're not angry anymore, or afraid that you're not going to have it anymore, right? It's really specific for each person. So my story of I didn't know what was fear and what was truth. So during my inner learnings, my first 4 years of my practice, I was sitting in meditation and I felt like I had to do a somersault because my neck had to roll a certain way to release something. I'm like, okay. And I got off the couch and I crouched down and I went to go do a somersault. And all of a sudden I had this image of me in a hospital bed, paralyzed from the neck down, because I break my neck doing a somersault. And everyone's coming and I'm giving them readings from my bed in the hospital. And I'm like, is that true? Because I didn't know yet. I didn't know the difference between fear, feeling, and that weird energy that it can give versus truth. So I'm seeing this image and I tried to get it out of my mind, you know, and I'm like, I'm going to do the somersault. And then it got worse and it got bigger and it wouldn't leave. And I was like, I literally do not know if I do a somersault that this will or will not happen. I cannot tell what's true. Because this was like maybe an hour I'm sitting on the floor trying to do a somersault. Couldn't do it. And I said to myself, the only way you're going to know the truth is to do the somersault. And if you're paralyzed from the neck down, well, then you're going to know what truth is from now on, aren't you? And I'm like, well, I'm going to do the somersault and we'll see what happens. So I did the somersault and I was like, didn't break my neck. I'm like, interesting. That fear looked really real. And again, what is its signature? It was threatening me again. It threatens me. Don't do this.
Right.
No, you're going to break your neck. It creates that disempowered, I'm not going to have what I need. I'm not okay. And I can be threatened. Right. But yeah, that was super scary, but it was the only way I knew in that moment to tell the difference between my fear and truth. And I that was insane. Like that's all I had left to do was just take the risk. That was crazy. But yep.
I think
so after that I learned a lot.
You have to take the divine led action. That's the part that is somewhat scary, but you know, I think you and I've talked about this in the past, that most of the time it comes as one little breadcrumb, and you just
quiet.
Yes, yeah. It's right. And it's not like these big, bold moves. It's, you know, like it's very simple things and it just comes in, and sometimes it's things you think to yourself, I never would have thought of that. Okay, that's really interesting. And then you just do it. And then somehow the next thing happens and you know instantly what to do. And so basically the more that you practice stepping out of that fear, and if you're going into fear, taking that moment to put yourself into like that theta brainwave state, which, you know, we all have our way of going to meditation, and there are simple ways to do it. And because I'm just not a big meditator, that's my truth to everybody. I'm not a big meditator. It's not my thing, but being able to connect easily and quickly, that's my thing. So it works. And the more that I've done it and have trained myself to do it, because that's another, so it took work. It didn't happen instantaneously. It took years, but I'm able to just do it and be over what I call the other side, to get information, to be connected. And now that connection is just open. But again, it's practice. It's like going to the gym every day, every day, every day, every day, regardless of how you feel and etc. It's doing it over and over and over, but being open to your process to manifest itself, because it's going to be different for everybody.
And every day too. Because the more we wake up, which is happening 24 hours a day, like the light just keeps eating everything, let's say, taking over everything. So our experience of what it feels like to be in our heart can feel different tomorrow, right? But I have to throw this other kind of wrench in the plan.
Good.
Okay.
Wrenches are good.
All right. Because this is really a deeper thing. So when we talk about following your heart, the human being, the mind, can want to do it to get something from it. I want my dreams to come true. So, okay, I'll follow my heart. I want this, or I want this outcome or that outcome. Okay, so I'll follow my heart. And it can become a very a different kind of threat that you're living under, because you're wanting to get something. You're wanting an end result. Okay, totally normal to want a result. We are result-oriented people, right? This other thing I have to say just takes it deeper, which is, will you follow your heart no matter what, regardless of outcome? And the only reason you would follow your heart is because you want to. Because you are so dedicated to being in the truth for yourself that it no longer becomes about trying to get something or get somewhere. It's foundational. You follow your heart because that's how you live your life. Whether something manifests or doesn't, you're doing it because your spirit, your truth is motivated to, regardless of outcome. And that's a whole deeper conversation, but I had to add that in.
I think that's a really important piece, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because it doesn't mean that everything rolls in our minds as perfect, right?
Because we've all had that experience. Yeah.
That's right. Lots of times things, in fact, look more jumbled than ease and grace. And that's when you have to make that choice to just go within and trust and say, I'm sending it love and light, and I'm holding the light, like you talked about, not going into the fear of it, so that it can manifest and manifest quickly for you. Because when you do have fear, think of it like wind blowing away what it is that is meant to come for you. Because when you're out of alignment, is every time you do that fear thing, just think of it, this much of a degree, 1/10 of a degree is still out of alignment. It doesn't have to be a mile out, right? And so when you stay in that alignment of, I trust and I know that what is occurring is going to be my highest best good, and I'm keeping my connection strong and solid so that I can hear what it is that I am to do or not to do, or if I'm just to hold the energy so that it can come in, which is a large part of the deal. Even now with this coronavirus, it's about us holding the light, knowing that the highest and best is going to come with ease and grace and quickly. And that's what it is. Somebody else wrote a question very specific, but I want to say this about the specific, why, the reason this is happening, etc., and all these other layers of things that are out there on the internet. If our only job is to be the highest vibration of light that we can be, and we surround everyone with light for their highest and best to come to fruition quickly with ease and grace, that then we don't have to be concerned with all these other things that people are talking about. Everybody's soul and the planet knows what their destiny course is. Our job, I feel, is to unite in light and to hold that so everyone can have the outcome, as Ambujam said earlier, that's in their highest and best good, which is not going to look the way we might perceive it should for ourselves or for others. Because for some people, their highest and best good may be to pass and to move on so that they can move on to their next mission or what their soul needs for them, or they need to learn a lesson or reconcile something, as we've been talking about. So when we stay just strong in the light, then there isn't any judgment about whether I'm sending light to the right thing or I need to be concerned about various other conspiracies and other things are going and are rampant. And while they may have truth somewhere, if we get sidetracked, I feel like that almost dilutes what we're trying to do, because then it takes us into fear and it takes us into worry and into stress and all these other things. And that then kind of takes us off course. Do you feel similar, Ambujam?
So my question to you is, when you say hold the light, what do you mean by that exactly? What is light? When you say light,
it's holding that peace and energy and that connection. So for me, it is golden light. I see it as golden light coming in. And when I'm feeling low or even depressed, I mean, there were some really heavy energetic days that we've come through where you're just like, wow, I feel flattened. And so then I call on the light to come in through me and through my heart and out to everyone. So when I say hold the light, it means that I'm not running around getting freaked out. Like on those days where, you know, I had people even texting me like, oh my God, what is going on? And I'm like, I know, I'm feeling it. Okay. Well, the answer to feeling that deep depression or sadness or anxiety is to blast it, bring in light into myself. And it doesn't mean instantaneously it gets handled, but I'm not running around trying to fix it. I'm not fixing anything. I'm just sending light to it. Does that make sense?
So for you, it's literally light. Literally.
For me, I call it light. It's really energy, right? I mean, it's energy. It's connecting and asking just to be bathed with light, every cell of my being, to bring it back into balance. So connecting to the highest aspect of God is what I call it. So for all of us, whatever that is, that you feel that connection and that peace. And that's, to me, the important part. So we're not running around energetically or with our minds or anything else. We're just focusing on that connection with our highest self and commanding light, whatever it is people do, so that we aren't fragmented. Because I feel like that's the whole point of fear, is to fragment our energy. And so then we're not able to think of it like a lightsaber. You know, we're going to talk Star Wars, right? So when the lightsaber is turned on and it's emanating its light, it's super powerful and can cut through anything, right? Well, when you don't have that beacon of light, whatever that looks like for you, then it's fragmented. It does nothing. It's just light particles. So that's what it means to me to hold the light, is that for me to stay in peace within myself. And so for each person, finding what that 0 point is for you. Where is that? What is that for you? And knowing that when we are going through these periods collectively and in your own lives, finding that peace point within you is how you're holding the light for yourself. And what happens, I mean, I have instant mirrors in my own home because I have children and a husband. And so when me or my husband, if we are off emotionally or upset about something like that, it will disrupt the entire house. And everybody starts feeding off that, and then they become crazy and emotional, and everybody becomes needy, and wow, and you're like, whoa, what did we just open up, right? And so we have that instant barometer that shows us, oops, you guys are out of alignment. And but we all have that, whatever it is in our lives, to pinpoint that we're not in that place of peace.
My other practice for me is when I feel fragmented and all this energy is intense, I go within and I go, okay, where is it my focus actually needs to be right now? And I just kind of, oh, there it is. You know, I just surrender and I wait for it to be shown. I wait to feel like I'm, you know, I leaned in a certain way, or maybe it's just to be quiet. But I practice that a lot too, because my mind has all kinds of ideas of what I should do and what I shouldn't do and all of this. And it's like, well, if I actually ask, where does my focus actually need to be right now in this very moment for my, you know, my highest path? It's always, the answer is always there. It takes a minute, right? I feel like we should do a healing because I feel like what spirit wants to do, God love them, is foundationally really, like, if we had no words and we're all just here, foundationally what we're pointing to is your awakeness and embodying your light, your consciousness, your high vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like what spirit wants to do is do a group, little mini blast here to help that truth within each person, that light within each person, that consciousness within each person, that freedom within each person, that knowing, the wisdom, the empowerment. All these words are really synonymous, right, with each other. If you're in your knowing, you're in your empowerment. If you're in your empowerment, you're in your knowing, right? I feel like they just want to, I don't know how they're going to do this yet, but I feel like they want to go right into that light where everybody just naturally has it and just either surface it more or clear the way so it can come out.
Good.
So you ready?
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to connect with everybody now. I can see the ego scrambling around. Uh-oh. I'm like, don't worry.
That's right.
You don't have to do anything. I get it though. I mean, our bodies have like these major survival things built in from the ego that it doesn't want to die, doesn't want to leave. It doesn't want us to awaken, because then its fear is it will die and it will lose its identity. So it freaks out. Sometimes you go to do a healing and it goes, oh no. Like, it makes sense. So I'm just letting it know, like, don't worry, you're cool. Nobody's going to take you away. This isn't about you, actually. Nothing to do with you there, little ego. Yep. Okay, so we're connecting now. You know, it's so interesting to me, because I do group work a lot, of when there's a group of people and they feel drawn to come together because everybody has their path in common of where they're at in their path of awakening and embodiment and all that. So this group, you guys are super close to some sort of like, it's like this is fine threshold, and you guys are really close of just going over. So, and this is just, you know, you on your path of awakening, healing, embodiment, foundationally. Okay, whatever's next for you, whatever your next phase is, whatever that looks like. You guys are so close to this shift that you've been working towards. So Spirit's definitely going to be working with that to help you. It's just really interesting just to see almost, it's not an anxiety in the system, but it's almost like an energy that's like been building because you're so close to this change of whatever you're about to change in your life or just internally. Yep. So we're going to be working with that. Okay. So we are going to do a little death ceremony right now, because your identity of who you think you are is going to just kind of die off a little bit more now. So before we do this shift that Spirit wants to do to bring more embodiment, is we're having a ceremony, like a little funeral to your identity and all of its little idiosyncrasies and attachments and desires and preferences. And we're acknowledging it, and we're like, thank you, because you're exactly where you need to be. You took all the steps from all your lifetimes, you got right here, but we don't need this anymore. So thank you. It's almost like you can get dropped off now. Okay. Yep. So this identity of you, this ego identity, kind of likes what we're doing. It's kind of like, okay. All right. So now what we're able to do is move you guys forward. Okay. So, yep. Yep. So for me, there's this image of your light, your consciousness moving out of the ego shell yet again, right? Because we're constantly coming out of our identities all day long. We're not consciously doing that though, you know. But now your light's moving on, moving forward, leaving the ego behind yet again, another layer. And once you're out enough, that's when spirit's really going to do this embodiment stuff and really help this light kind of spark on, and just, because it's already sparked, right? It's already you. You don't have to go anywhere for that. But it's like they just want to really just ignite and affirm your energy, okay? But we had to do this ego thing first. Yep, so I'm going to send that little ego thing away now. Like, you can go home now. Go hang out with God. You've done your job. All right, so you guys ready? We're going to do that ego release now. Yep. Okay. So we're like going to shut the door, okay, so it doesn't come back. We're going to shut the door from once you came, and now we're going to focus on this embodiment thing. Just bringing out your light, triggering your light, calling it forth, sparking it. Yep, 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 yep. Time to get nice and big and fat now. Expand, 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 expand. As big as you want to. And as this is happening, I can clearly see there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your path. You're exactly where you need to be. This whole situation that's going on is getting you exactly where you need to be. It is sacredly perfect. And even what we're doing right now is actually part of it. It's very humbling. Yep. So we're just really working on igniting your self, your truth, your true energy, your essence, your light, your consciousness. Okay. So that's going to be happening for a little while now, because there's a lot of integration that's going on too. Because sometimes when you bring up the light, you know, it's like the mud at the bottom of the lake. The mud starts to come out because you drain the lake. Well, there's nothing left but mud. Clear the mud. And so I'm watching, there's like sadness in your system. There's loss, there's grieving, and we could say, yes, it's because of this worldly situation that you're grieving and that you're sad. But that's not why, though. This loss and this grief that you have in your system is very old, that this situation's triggering. So we're just helping your systems feel the grief and just process it out. And so I thought we were going to be done actually a second ago, like, okay, this light will keep turning on. It's just going to keep happening all by itself. But I actually feel once I started seeing this loss and old emotional stuff in your system that now needs to release and just be felt and moved. We just have to do another movement after that, because we have to, because it's important. And once this old kind of grief and loss, because it's very genuine. It's not an issue, this grief in your system. It's, you've gone through stuff, you've lost people, you've lost yourself, you've lost things. It's old, it's really old, and it just needs a minute, you know, to just be felt. And then once that does that in whatever way it needs to, there's just one more thing that we have to do that's just waiting for us. So just waiting. Yep, the grief goes, wait, You mean I don't have to hurry, be fixed? We're like, nope. Nope. Stay along as long as you want. Stay around all you want. You just need to be felt. That's all. Like there's nothing wrong with grief. It's actually quite beautiful when it's truly felt. You know, because loss is very mental and very emotionally, it's intense. But when you actually get down to the root of the grief, or just the pure grief of it, there's just this beauty that's beyond words, beyond explanation. And so it's really that part of the grief that was like, oh, I don't have to hurry. I don't have to get fixed. We're like, nope. All right, we're getting ready to do this other movement now. I don't know how to describe this. So it's like your energy wants to move forward a little bit more, but it also is going to get, this is where words are hard. You have capacities and gifts and specific unique energy, you know, to you. And it just feels like over these next 3 months or so is this big window for all of these new pieces of you to really come online and turn on and just go. Okay. It's over time, but there's this window that's happening. And I know, okay, it has to do with Passover. So tonight's the second night of Passover. Okay. It's also Easter coming on Sunday. Like this whole time right now is very deep, very profound. That
Prolific.
time. Yes.
That was a word. Sorry.
This time right now is right at the window. It's all connected. It's right at some window that your next levels, I'll say, of abilities, capacities, knowing, wisdom, soul's expressions, your being's expression. These next 3 months is all about turning that on, downloading, opening. There's a lot, okay? This next thing that Spirit wants to do, arising out of feeling your grief, just moves you in that direction that much more, that much deeper. Okay. Yep. So Spirit goes, that's actually why you came to this call. There's a reason is to have this movement we're going to do right now, to actually work with this holy sacred time that we're actually in right now and deepen you in your next thing. All right, you guys ready? We're going to do that now. So see if you can sense the holiness within you. Just that holy, sacred energy that you are, man. Yep. Because it's another invitation that this time is triggering for your holiness to come out. So just another thing, another layer, another special thing. So yeah. So right now what we're doing is we're setting things up with you, your being, your team, Spirit. Everybody's kind of just setting everything up to continue to support your holy sacred energy to keep emerging out of you and go forward and receive and surface your next levels of, I'll just say, your being's expressions, you know. Yep, so we're just setting that up now, and then we'll be complete with our group thing here. Yeah, really see if you can feel that sense of holiness, the sacredness of you. It's like, yep, emotions are there, but so isn't your holiness, you know? Fear is there, but so isn't your holiness. It's one big, amazing thing in that little body, you know? Okay, yep, so Spirit's pulling me out now of that group connection now. We're still going to be together in the connection, but once how my work works is some part of you or parts of you let me in to to do stuff, and then I have to come back out. I got to come out of your space. That's just how I work. So I'm going to come out now of your space. Mm. So just be, hang out with yourself. How are you feeling? What do you notice in there? What's going on? The other practice I do a lot is I just practice being right here, right now. So you don't have to remember the healing that we did. Just be where you are right now. And that's it. The past is gone. The future has not yet happened. All you have is now, and then now again, and now again. Oh, now again. Oh, now. It's always now. So it's a practice to just kind of let your consciousness just constantly meet now and now and now and now, and let whatever was go. Almost like you have amnesia. You can't remember who you were before this call. No clue. I just know I'm here. I'm in my holiness, and I'm going forward,
Yes.
Thank you, guys. That was very special.
That was really wonderful. Everyone, feel now your peace point. What does that feel like for you? Because as you feel that, then allow that to emanate throughout your entire body. And then share that from your heart to everyone that you know, that you come in contact with, sending it out. Just see it ripple so that it touches anyone and everyone who needs it, wants it, and is willing and able to accept it. So that's the beauty of doing this process with you. Thank you, Ambujam. Because that allows everybody to know, when all of us together, look at how strong that feels. Isn't that amazing? And how much easier it is to move into that place of peace when we're all connected. It's really beautiful. And exponentially, then we're able to share that forward, So it's really...
Yeah, because you can't help but emanate who you are.
That's it.
And that in and of itself is the teacher, is the mirror, is the way shower, is the pointer, right?
Yes, exactly. This is why we all come together, because together we actually move further faster. We're able to reach higher frequencies together. And then once we bring them and experience them, they're within you. They didn't just disappear the minute Ambujam pulled out. We're embodying them now. Those frequencies and energetics and light, coded light, is within you now, every cell of your being, and multidimensionally within all of your light bodies and all of your bodies. So this is why this work is so important, and I'm so grateful for all of you for being here. All right, do you want to take, we have some hands up and have had some hands up for a while. Would you like to take some calls?
Yep.
Thank you.
I just want to add one more thing. So for some people, they don't want to emanate it to others. They just want to have it here because they have a history of taking care of other people. And so the second they have a shift, they feel like, oh, I got to share it with other people. And that may not work for certain people. So I just want to add, if it feels true for you to emanate your holiness or your peace to others, great. If it feels true for you not to do that and just stay with it for just yourself, because that's what you need to do, then do that.
Always follow your guidance, people.
Yeah, they both have their place. Okay, yeah, let's take some calls or questions.
Well, here we go. Allow to talk. Hello. Are you there? I've unmuted you. It is phone number 9181, or is the last 4 digits. If not, then we're going to just mute them again. Maybe they're not there. Okay, we'll see this next one. This is Vivian. Vivian, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hello, Vivian.
Hi, this is Vivian again. And it's unbelievable that you just answered my My hand, I love you both. I'm very grateful. I won't talk much. I had a meeting with Ambujam at the beginning of the year, one-on-one, a call, amazing. And actually last week I asked you a question, Gabrielle, and you sent me a message that had changed my entire energy. I just wanted to ask you, Ambujam or Gabrielle, if you have a piece of information coming from my higher self that I need to continue working, because as I said the last call, I actually been finding that I need other healers to send me some pieces that I cannot get by myself. It's something, it's like a tricky thing that I'm always looking for the answer, and sometimes I'm so entangled in working and in talking to my higher self and my guides and angels and doing healings and doing meditation with other and workshops, and I'm so entangled in a lot of information sometimes that even in my meditations I don't get some pieces of the things that I need to finally, like you said, Ambujam, right now in the healing, to get that threshold. And actually today was a very big threshold in my path. So I send you all my love and thank you for answering my call.
So, okay, here's what I want to share with you. Here's what I see when you're talking about all that. If you ask yourself, okay, and this might take a minute, okay, if you ask yourself, where is my consciousness really at? Okay, where am I actually residing? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you that because when you're talking, I see your mind is in a habit of who you think you are, which is doing all these things. But your energy and your consciousness has actually moved on. It's moved forward already. And it's busy learning how to listen to the wind, life itself, and you. Like it's like it's moved on already from this kind of busy trying to figure it out stuff. And it's actually it's like you're in yourself, kind of getting used to what it's like to just be within and feeling, what does it feel like when life's talking to me or giving me a feeling? What's it feel like when the earth is giving me information? What's it feel like when I'm receiving information? So that's what I actually see, that you're not where you think you are. And it's this habit. And this happens to a lot of people after waking up, because the mind takes a long time to catch up sometimes of where we actually are. So we think we're still in these places and we keep doing these things and it kind of feels empty and like it's not working anymore.
Yes.
So I would suggest to you to actually go find where you are really.
Okay.
And trust it. And it can feel like the mind would go, well, why would you just be quiet and be silent and be simple? That doesn't make sense. You have to run around because that's just what it's used to doing. Mm-hmm. But you need to trust this deeper, flow that you're in, that your energy is actually in. You're not where you are. You're in a habit. You're in a habit. You're not alive there. You're not vital. Like this habit isn't vital.
Yes.
It's kind of like a chicken with its head cut off. The body's still moving and the body thinks I'm alive until it's not. And I see this a lot with people who've woken up. Because we just don't know how to, it's very confusing because you're just in a habit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know it's dead and it's done. But the habit itself, like my husband has this analogy. If you're driving a Mack truck and it's been going 180 miles an hour on the highway and you put it in neutral, it doesn't just stop automatically. It takes a while, slows down until it just naturally comes to a stop. So to me, when people wake up, a lot I see that they're in this habitual moving. It's a neutral now, but they think their foot's still on the gas and then the truck is moving. Got to steer. I got to go to where I'm going. It's like, dude, you're not even in the truck. Get out. Get out of your consciousness. Get out of your habit. So that's what I want to say. Really investigate what's very, very true for me. Where am I actually at? Am I really in this other place or not? And
Beautifully said.
Work with that.
Okay, it makes sense. Yes.
Perfect response. All right. Thank you, Vivian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. This next caller is the last 4 digits are 0447.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Who is
it's
this?
Wilma.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. Here's my strange question for you. I'm hoping you
love
can have a look
strange.
in. I've
The
been
best.
dealing with I've been dealing with abundance issues, and this COVID thing left me with no money coming in at all. And so this morning I found out that I live in Canada. So this morning I found out that I will be able to take advantage of what the government is offering during COVID. A few hours later, I get a message, which would be great because they're giving $2,000 a month, so pay my rent, take care of everything. A few hours later, I get an email from the company I work for saying they're taking advantage of what the government is offering. They will pay me 75% of my salary. I work part-time, so 75% of part-time won't even pay my rent. So I'm wondering if you can have a look and see what it is that when I finally think, okay, it's looking good, I've got myself in a spiritual place and alignment with the money's coming in, but a few hours later, no, it's gone.
Okay. Foundationally, these questions are never about money. Okay. Money's the symptom or the ripple. Okay.
Okay.
Now, and this is why I'm saying this, because what I have to tell you.
I'm listening.
Because it's very, this situation, this virus thing is triggering a part of you, it's past life, okay? It's triggering a part of you that is very adamant about being in control. And it's very masculine. It's got a masculine quality to it. Like it's angry. It doesn't ever want to feel that something outside of it is controlling you, which is exactly what's happening, right? Life is now controlling your life, right?
Wow.
So this part of you has been it's like, so I'm just going to call it a he because it's almost easier, but it's feminine though, but it's got a very masculine driven, like a wounded masculine. Okay. A wounded masculine driven. Yeah. So as I'm talking about this, it's already starting to move. This part of you is so certain that it can control everything and that it can make change if it just buckles down and tries hard enough. And it's been getting away with this for lifetimes. Like nobody's challenged him. Nobody's challenged him. Nobody said, hey, dude, you're actually not in control. And so I'm going to ask you this. I'm just going to say this. How do you surrender so deeply in this situation? How do you surrender past, you could say, and it's kind of challenging because we're talking about control, which is like our most survival based way of being. How do you surrender past the identity of, if I'm not controlling, I don't matter and I'm nothing? There's another word I'm looking for, this part of you. It's like he can't be seen as weak. And this is exactly what this situation is triggering. So I would ask, how can I surrender through my own identity of the masculine need to matter, and that I have control over my life. And if I just try hard enough, I can make a change. So that's what I see. It's this past life part of you.
Well, I'm feeling a lot of energy moving in my heart. That what's coming to my mind to say right now is, I was supposed to be a boy. That's that's why my name is Wilma. I was supposed to be named after my uncle, who was also my godfather, whose name was William, but he died. So they still named me after him. And so while you're talking, and you're talking about a masculine energy, for some reason that popped up in me.
Yeah. So if we go there, that's very interesting, because at a very core level, it's like something feels like it shouldn't have happened. Should have been a boy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly.
And so it's this super deep, I don't even have a word for it, inner conflict of, it's like you just have to go, ah! Like, let this thing blow up. Because it's what you're saying, like this feeling that you're bringing about, I was supposed to be a boy, which creates a very internal conflict or confusion about what's true, what's real. If I was supposed to be a boy and I'm a girl, like, what do you trust? What happened? That's this energy of this past life part of you, of this guy in a woman body. There's a very deep, like, you just pointed to the thing I couldn't quite find the word for. There's this very deep, but if I control everything, I'll fix everything, but yet it doesn't work. So it's like a foundational conflict. It's foundational conflict. And that's where you surrender, is there. Like, I don't know the answer. Help me.
It's the feeling that I wasn't wanted.
Yep.
I wasn't what they were expecting, and I wasn't accepted. Isn't that interesting that that's what's popping up right now?
Well, it makes total sense. Because this masculine past life image of you, he really wants to matter, and he thinks how he matters is by controlling and fixing. And so you're literally your literal identity, not from so much of even an ego, we could say, but who and what you are is now being challenged, like core, right? So
you're asking me to surrender on a conscious level. Which I'm willing to do. How do I get rid of this energy once and for all, so that it's not here anymore?
So if you consciously bring your awareness to that feeling of, I should have been a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what? Go there to that kind of conflict of a deep trust. Like, I don't know what the heck is going on. And just stay present and stay present and stay present. Like, you're just going to fall through that. And with the prayer to grace or spirit or the angels, whatever you pray to, bring me through this so I can be free. Bring me through and out the other side. I don't know how. Show me. I want to be free here. And just keep staying present with that kind of odd, feeling that's there.
You know what that brought up? That brought up a picture of me when I was a baby, sitting in my mother's arms on her parents' the front of their house. This is many decades ago, and you could see when you looked at that picture. It's hard to even bring the words up. Like, she didn't even want me to be there. Wow, that brought up a lot.
Yeah, so it's this very deep, I'll disappear. right?
I'd like to clear this right now. So are you saying if I continue going deeper and deeper and deeper?
Yep. Follow the bouncing ball there. Follow the canoe. Yep. Yeah, because it's a core ego. It's a core identity question. And so, yep, I would say to just keep doing exactly what you're doing. Now you've got the spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sweetheart. We're going to move on to the next call because
Thank
now
you so much.
hands are going crazy. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you.
Now, let's see here. All right. This is Erica, I think.
Yes. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Erica.
Hi.
Hi.
Yep.
Hello. I had a question about my throat chakra. I have had this irritation for weeks in my throat.
Have you brought your awareness in there yet?
I am now.
You guys, don't forget. When you've got a physical issue or any issue, bring your awareness in to it with curiosity of, I wonder what this is even. Like, I have no clue.
Well, and I felt good about myself because lately I've been sharing things with my family that normally I wouldn't share. So I would have thought of moving things, but I'm not.
Okay. So yeah, so when you bring your awareness into your throat chakra now, what's your first initial experience there? What's going on? What do you notice?
Nothing seems to come.
What'd you notice right away?
Fear,
What else?
anger,
Yep, what else?
I want to be heard.
Yep. So why is all of this up now?
Because I'm ready to quit playing small.
Yeah, because the actions that you're taking are triggering this stuff that's been sitting there to actually move and come out. So it's just looks irritated to me, you know, and it just looks like all these emotions that have been, I'll just say dormant, but not really. It's like they've been sitting there and then your actions are triggering them to move. So keep going, doing what you're doing. Okay. B, if you ask your irritated throat, how can I help you move this energy? What do you need? And what do you feel like it brings to you?
Some sadness is coming up. What do I need?
Yeah, right now. You can just say right now. What's it
Right
need
now.
to help move the energy?
I just feel like I'm frozen.
Yeah. So here's what I watch you do. I watch you go there and then you just freeze, shut down. And then it becomes like kind of sleepy, foggy energy. Right? So only you can reconcile that part when you start to go into your information, and then some part is just like, I can't handle it. I can't go there. It's normal. It's the fear of being, on, right? Fear of being in your power, fear of knowing.
Let go.
So when you start to feel like that kind of like sleepy, foggy, that's your protection of, it's too overwhelming for your mind to be in your power. So just keep staying with it and staying with it and staying with it and staying with it. Cause I know you'll get your information. I don't doubt that. You're thinking that something, when you said, I don't get anything, I don't believe you because I watch you get it. And then I watch this thing come down. Right. Because it's scary. Some part just gets contracted because it's powerful being in your, being in your knowing. It's almost like, oh my God, it's too good to be true. We can't do it. It's just,
or
like the
what
mind
if
just
I'm wrong? What if it's wrong? And then
the mind just can't handle it.
Too much for the mind.
Yeah. So stay with it. And my sense is it might need different things because it just needs to move out of the body. So the more you stay the course and stay like driving down this road of speaking and owning your truth, and the more this stuff will clear out. But basically what's happened is it's been sitting there the whole time. And now that you're doing it, it's actually moving. So I would just keep asking, what do you need today? How can I help you move? And just
now I have noticed that I realized I have quite a fear of rejection. Maybe that's connected.
Yeah.
And I also feel that I can be very critical.
It's all mind control stuff. It's all the mind needing to be in control. So when you were speaking before, I feel strongly, like Ambujam said, it is about stepping into that place of peace so that you can just let what needs to come out without you judging it, without you holding on to it like, well, what if I'm wrong? What if that's not correct? What if I'm proven wrong later? And every one of us has gone through that phase, and it is about allowing what needs to be reconciled. Like Ambujam said, what is it that you need to get through that today, through this moment? What is it that's causing me to clamp down and not let it out? And in that moment, that will help you to release that piece, because you're looking at the Great Wall of China and you want to take it all down with one thing. And we're telling you, you're going to take it pebble by pebble, and then eventually it will all just not exist anymore.
Go. And I want to add this part, because this is what I watched you do also. When I asked you, what does it need to start releasing or how you can help it? I watched you go there, and then I watched you get the information. And this is the part that I want to tell everybody, because this is, it's a specific teaching that we have to do to ourselves. So I watched you go there. I watched you get the information, but where the information was not in your mind. Your knowing knew. And it's like a feeling and a knowing all at the same time. You know what it is, but the mind just can't label it. Okay. Stay with what you feel and know. Stay down. Don't go here to try to figure it out. You don't have to describe it to yourself. You don't have to explain it. Explain your knowing to yourself. Practice staying with what you feel and know, and just stay there and 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 stay there. Train yourself to stay in that knowing. You don't have to come back up here and figure it out.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a very specific way to train the awareness of how to stay in something like that, because oftentimes we just know what we know, but we can't describe it or explain it. And then we just get all weird with it. Stay there, stay there. It's like when I first started doing my readings and people's beings would show me what was going on for them, but it was such a different way of my mind or my awareness watching something, because I'm used to watching, 3D world, let's say. So when I would get information, I'd literally have to train myself to stay with it, because it's a whole new world that I had to be aware of, and how this world feels and works and talks, and it's just a lot of practice and practice and practice. Now I do it in 2 seconds, no big deal. And then sometimes, it doesn't happen often, but every now and then when I'll be doing a session or a group thing, and I'll see something that I've never seen before, not see it, but something in me is like, what is that energy? Then I have to do it again. I'm like, because it's totally different vibration and totally different energy, and I don't have to figure it out. I just have to stay with it and stay with it and stay with it and stay with it. Oh, and then, okay, I'm in. But it's training our awareness of, because it can go to so many places. So when you feel and know something, stay there. Just stay. You don't have to explain it to yourself, and go there and see what happens. Stay with it. Yeah.
Yes. All right, sweetie. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take Stephanie, real thing. And then we're done. Okay. I know, guys. Does time fly for you or what? It's like,
Yeah.
woo!
I'm like, we should probably do one or two more. And then you said, oh, and then we're done. I'm like, okay.
All right. So we're going to do Stephanie. So we're on the same page. All right, Stephanie, are you there, sweetie?
I am, but actually it was my husband who had a question. So.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah. We love husbands.
I'm done. Go.
Okay. I'm wondering, so you talk about the death of the ego, and, you know, I've been doing some spiritual work for a while, and I try to shutter the ego, but something really rises up in me when you say that. And I know that's because the ego doesn't want to die and stuff, but how do I get past that?
Okay, you don't get past it, you get through it. Okay, that thing that you feel, okay, I actually have something more to say about this. Well, let me say this now. Okay, part of what you're feeling isn't just ego. There's some other darkness on top of there. It's messing with this, okay? Because it doesn't want you to break through this thing. Because if you do, it's like, holy crap. You know, you're in your power in a really big way. We'll deal with that in a second. This feeling that you have of when I say ego death and there's a contraction, just stay with the contraction. That's it.
Okay. I can do that.
Yep.
And then
there'll be other ones because it's just what the ego does. It's this very specific survival. I don't know why I see this image for you of nature, and green roots or pieces of sticks and twigs. It's so foundational to your identity, just like the grass is to a park or to the forest. The grass can't ever think, how are you going to get rid of me? I'm the grass. This forest needs me. And actually it doesn't. Not this forest that we're talking about. So once you just stay present with these contractions, I just have to say there will be more. It's what the ego will do, but all you have to do is just stay with it. That's it. And it will move and you will get through it and you'll get beyond it.
Okay.
Now, this other thing of the energy that's not you, and this is a reminder for all of us that when we go to address something within us, don't forget to ask. Question number 1, is this energy 100% mine? Yes or no? Okay. So when you ask this very specific thing that you were feeling, when you ask, is this energy 100% mine? Yes or no? And what do you feel?
No.
Okay. What percentage is yours? And just, roughly.
I don't know. I'm not getting anything for that. I feel there's something else there, but like how much of it is me and how much of it is something else, I can't.
Yeah. What's your rough, quick, how much of this is mine? What percentage?
Probably about 50-50.
Okay. Stay with the 50. Just yours.
Okay.
Okay. This is that trainer of awareness thing again. Stay with the 50, even though your mind doesn't know what this 50% is. And then what's not you will just go all by itself. You don't have to try to get rid of it. What you have to do is deal with how it got in the first place, which is this 50%.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing I actually see on a deeper level, really only 20% of it is yours.
That's right. That's what I got. I got 80-20. So you also might want to see it in another way, which is the ego bringing it into alignment with your divine self and see how that feels to you. Is that easier? Bringing up less resistance?
Sounds a lot more it sounds a lot better than ego death. I'll agree.
Okay. So that's your focus. I mean, we all have words, okay? And And the important thing is not necessarily that you agree with every word that a person uses, but to go within you and find your language, what resonates for you and gives you kind of the same understanding of what it is that is being talked about. So in making wholeness, it's important for all aspects of ourselves to be brought into wholeness and into divine alignment with our soul. And for myself, I can say this because for me, ego death was a big problem. In fact, I didn't talk about ego if you listen to my hundreds of speaking engagements, I never talk about it. And the reason that I don't is because it does trigger me in a different way than it does for others. So for me, I understood it as in it's bringing all of myself into harmony and a harmonic frequency. So the ego must do that as well. So if that feels better, then start doing your meditation asking that. How do I bring my ego into coherence with my wholeness, with my soul, with my soul's destiny, and see what comes up for you? And then you might not have that block of I don't know what's going on or I can't hear, because the ego is not throwing a tantrum. And then what I call backdooring things. Okay, so we're going to backdoor it. We're not tricking it. We're just not invoking its tantrum, right?
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Good. We like to make sense. So thank you for your question. I appreciate you coming on. I think it's wonderful that you're listening and have joined us. We hope we've helped you.
It's so cool, ladies. Man. Thank you. Like ever since I was little, I'm like every single person, I used to have this image, every single person on this planet has a piece of the truth. And if you got everybody in the same room, you'd have the whole truth. So each healer has their own perspective and their own way of looking at things. And it's like when you have a bunch of us together and we all put in our 2 cents, it's like super helpful. You
There's
know?
so many different perceptions.
The alignment thing.
Sorry?
I wouldn't even have thought of the alignment thing. But when you say it, I'm like, ah.
You know, you and I have talked many times about all sorts of things. And I call us the thinking. It's like, it's very hard to get out of that mind-centric part. And for me, that was my biggest challenge for the longest time, was getting out of, well, I have to process this. I need to think about it. So whenever people out there, all of us, whenever you say, well, I need to think about that, that's your first, oops, I just went into mind, right? I just went into ego. I just invited them to the party and I screwed it all up. So that's why I said, pay attention to what you hear in your own head, because that's how you know who's talking to you, right? So when I have to think about something, it means that I'm planning to process it logically and I'm going to come up with my answer, which is always going to be incorrect. My husband and I have always said that whatever has occurred to us that might have been a bit more painful than it needed to be in order to get us to shift, had we listened to the inner voice and not the logical things, the factual based things that we use to determine what we were going to do next, my goodness. And then other times, we've packed up without a job and we left Arizona and shipped all of our stuff to the East Coast and moved without a job and 3 children, a baby. And people were like, you're crazy. And I said, we just need to go. That's it. And that's the knowing part, that it didn't make any logical sense. You can't afford it. You don't have the money, blah, 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 blah. But you have to do it. And that's what we're saying to all of us, regardless of what's going on in the world around us. We know this is why we're here. We're here to unite, to support one another, to show each other what it is to feel this connection. Hasn't it been beautiful? So amazing. I mean, the comments that have come in, it's phenomenal. What a blessing it is to share together, all of us.
Together. This
feeling and
beautiful.
Knowing that this exists. This is not fake. We did not make it up. This is real. And this, when we tap into this, like I said, once your energetic field has felt the frequency, you're more easily able to replicate it, to reconnect to it. So here's another simple suggestion, is that when you go into, let's say you're having a crazy day or you're feeling down, you can simply say, Mother, Father, God, it is commanded that I be downloaded with the energy, the love that I felt when I was attending Ambujam and Gabrielle's call. Because there's no time or space. Just put yourself back there, request the download of this energy. It's forever in the annals of existence. It doesn't go away once we hang up. So this is the part that as we spread this knowledge to everyone and we all keep doing it, it actually recirculates the same love, the same knowledge, the same understanding, and that each one of us get it for how we need it, how we need to receive it. Not necessarily the words that Ambujam and I have said, but that within you it triggers your own knowing. That's the reason we come together. It's to share that, but to really trigger within you your own abilities, your own gifts, your own skills, your own knowing, your own wisdom, your own connection to who you really are. That's
faux show.
That's it, right?
Word.
I know, right? And it's a wrap, people. We love you. We hope to see you again next week for the Soulscape show. I appreciate you all being here. Mwah! I love you, love you, love you. Thank you, Ambujam. You're just
thank you, lady.
My girl. All right.
Love you.
See y'all, everybody.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me at Soulscape.tv for the Soulscape TV show. This is Gabrielle Spencer. We have many free gifts and one especially from Ambujam Rose. For you, you can access them at Soulscape.tv. When you get out there, you can access all seasons of the Soulscape show, and this particular episode is located in season 3.